Welcome back to this 6-part mini-series about reasons why you should not move to Vancouver. Hopefully you've been enjoying them. In this episode, I'll be talking about the job market. But before I jump in, I just wanted to cover a quick few things. So if I don't scare you away and you do decide that Southwest Washington is the place for you, text me right now at 360-818-4438. I love getting calls and texts from people who are looking to relocate and buy, sell, and invest. So make sure you text me right now before you forget. And before we jump in, whether it's your first video here or you watch everything we put out, it means so much if you'd subscribe and like this video, and then share it with your spouse, family, or friend, whoever it is that you're trying to sell on moving here. Make sure to share this video with them. So with that being said, let's jump right in. Number 3 is employment. While there are so many new opportunities to work remotely, and that's one of the few positives that's come out of this COVID situation, there are still I don't know if you'd call it a large percentage, about 30 to 40% of Clark County residents who are work in Oregon. So there are job opportunities here, and there's probably a lot of companies, like small regional companies, or, like 20 to 50 employee companies, 50 to 100 employee companies that you've never heard of that have jobs for people who live here. And the best setup from a tax standpoint is if you can live and work in Washington. So whether that's remote or physically here in Southwest Washington, that's going to be your best tax setup. Of course, consult your CPA. You lose some of the benefits from living, from a tax standpoint, from living in Southwest Washington if you work in Oregon, because then if you work in Oregon, you'll pay state income tax to Oregon. And then when you come home and you're shopping here in Southwest Washington, as pretty much everyone who's a Southwest Washington resident does, you're paying sales tax, so you're getting taxed twice, essentially. Now, you can work for an Oregon company, and if you're working remotely and you're physically in Washington, then you qualify for those Washington no state income tax benefits. So if you are relocating for work and you already know that you're going to be working in Oregon, Southwest Washington may not be the right place for you, because you will have a longer commute than if you live in Oregon, for the most part. And you'll still end up paying sales tax. So if you're working in Oregon physically and you live in Southwest Washington, you're still going to pay that Oregon state income tax, plus you'll have a longer commute. Now, the flip side to that is that you will typically get more house for your money here in Southwest Washington, and the schools are typically better than Portland schools. So if those things are important to you, then it might be worth it. But again, that's something for you to consider based on your personal situation. So I serve all of Clark County, Southwest Washington. I can help you sell a home or buy a home or invest in Vancouver, Camas, Washougal, Battleground, Ridgefield, plus all those areas in between, all the unincorporated areas. And I will go out into the gorge, because you don't have to twist my arm too hard to help anyone out. And I get to be out in the gorge, which is gorgeous, right? Work and employment might be a reason, but don't write off, just because it's not obvious, the employment opportunities in Southwest Washington, don't write it off. There are a lot of jobs here, and we'll actually do a video coming up about the biggest employers.
Somebody's having fun.
Not us. When are you going to take me out on your motorcycle?
When you act right. This is also a great place to remind people if they have a property or a business they'd like you to spotlight, to reach out. So you said you were going to do a video on...
So coming up, we'll do a video on some of the larger employers in Southwest Washington. So keep an eye out for that. If you haven't subscribed yet, do that now. And if you have a business or an organization or a property that you want me to spotlight, make sure to go to halbyrd.com/partner, and we can discuss featuring that on my channel here. Well, you know what they say, there's no time like the present. So I wanted to share with you some of the bigger companies that are in Southwest Washington that have either a lot of employees or are bigger national companies that have a presence here. There's a mix of people who contact me, from people who are now able to work remotely because of hashtag everything that happened in 2020, to people who have been offered jobs here, to moving regions within the same company. But if you are just wanting to move to Vancouver and aren't sure about what the job prospects are, here are some different ideas. Let's start off with Fisher Investments in Camas. It's reported online that they have about 1,300 employees, and they are the number 11 employer in the entire metro area, which is pretty impressive considering they're competing with big companies like Nike and Adidas and Columbia Sportswear. We also have Banfield Pet Hospital here in Vancouver, and I've seen two different reports. One said they had 3,000 employees, the other said they had about 800. Still a very large size employer, especially in Southwest Washington. We have a company called Enlight that has over 500 employees. Zoom Info also has over 500 employees. We have a company called Nautilus with 300 employees. Sigma Design in Camas, 300 employees. So there are a lot of options when it comes to larger employers, and typically the larger the company or the more employees they have, the more job opportunities. So some other companies to look into is Wafer Tech, Prestige Care, Papa Murphy's, Consolidated Metco. In the medical field, there's Peace Health, Legacy, Kaiser, the Vancouver Clinic, Empress, Healthcare Management. All of those have a range of employee numbers ranging from 2,000 to 7,000 employees. There's education in that sector. We have WSU Vancouver, Clark College, Vancouver Public Schools, Evergreen School District, Camas and Battleground School Districts as well. And then in the government sector, you could work for the state of Washington or the county here, which is Clark County, or the city of Vancouver. So when you're thinking about employers, think about what regional management positions there might be for big national companies. Maybe they have Portland Metro regional position. You can also think about B2B companies, business to business. Barrett Business Services is an example of that. So I encourage you to think outside the box, to look into the companies I've mentioned, do some more research, apply for jobs here, get up on LinkedIn, beef up your profile, start making connections local to the area, talk to headhunters. There's so many opportunities, and even smaller companies than the ones that I've mentioned, small law offices, private doctor's offices that need all sorts of services, or you can come here and start your own business as well. So there's so many options, and I just wanted to make sure that you had some information on what the economics and job prospects of this market look like. So while Portland does have quite a bit more opportunities, and you always have the option to commute if you want to live in Southwest Washington, there are jobs here, thousands and thousands of them, and it's up to you to find the one that's going to match your skills and provide you the best work experience. So good luck.